All right, folks, meteorologist Tom Miners here. We have a tornado warning that's just been issued for parts of the triangle. We're going to go ahead and take a look at that. If we can actually pull up Lee, I believe you might have weather 1 there set up on the camera. There we go. We've got a tornado warning that's in effect for northeastern Orange, northern Durham, and also southern parts of Person, western parts of Granville County. That actually only includes sections of Granville County that are north and west of Interstate 85. This does include areas like Durham. It does not include the city of Chapel Hill. It is not including Roxborough right now, and it's just up into sections near Oxford and parts of Granville County. You got very heavy rainfall moving through the triangle right now as well, and west of Smithfield and Johnston County. Some of those heavy showers are actually starting to approach areas like Clayton. It almost is co-located with Interstate 40 at the moment between Durham and parts of Johnston County. So those showers going to become intense for a little bit, but the area of rotation that we're most closely watching right now is over portions of Durham County. That's actually a zone of rotation that we've been watching as we've been going forward today, really for the last, I would say, couple of hours. So go ahead and get into the lowest floor of your home and the interior room and away from windows. You want to make sure that you're putting as much distance between you and the outside of your home as possible. So we're talking, make sure that there are multiple walls between you and the outdoors. That way you've got multiple different barriers between you and the outside as well. Again, so that tornado warning has been issued for portions of Durham, Orange County, and again, this area that we're watching right there, just north of Durham now, is where we've not only got the potential for rotation, but we've also got a chance for some very heavy rainfall to come through quickly. Now, this system is moving to the north at approximately 30 miles per hour. So there you'll see an estimated time of arrival, which is going to include the Orange Factory at 9:57, Willardville at 9:59, Bahama at 10:02, Quail Roost and Mount Teresa just after 10 o'clock. So close to southeastern portions of Person County at just about a quarter after 10 a.m. today. Again, there have been some areas of rotation, even in eastern Chatham County when this same cell was over the Sharon Harris nuclear power plant. That's when we started to see it show signs of rotation, but it does seem, and this is not uncommon with tropical cyclones, that we started to see that rotation pick up a little bit. So you've got a view there that actually shows radar, so rain, where the rain's falling on Max 5. If we could come over to Max 5 briefly here, I want to show you where that rotation is, because this is actually showing a very clear picture of where that rotation is taking place on St. Mary's Road right now, which stretches from northwestern Durham to northeastern Orange County. That's where there's a clear indication that we've got a couplet or a zone of rotation that's right, again, located along that band of heavy rainfall. So Ladder Road, we've got St. Mary's Road, west of Russell Road in Durham County, east of Lipscomb Grove Road, Church Road in northeastern Orange County. Those are just some of the communities, some of the roads that are close to where that rotation is occurring right now. And again, since it is moving off to the north and northeast at about 30 miles per hour, I can put a track on that specific area of rotation and say that in southeastern Person County near Mount Teresa, that system seems to be like it's going to be overhead Mount Teresa at 10 minutes after 10 o'clock. So that tornado warning just recently issued, again, by the National Weather Service, but it is going to be in effect until 10:15 for basically the next half hour. We've got a chance there for that rotation to move through as this severe thunderstorm's capable of producing a tornado. Still just radar indicated rotation that we're looking at right now over that portion of Durham and Orange County. It's almost exactly on that county line there. And there have been some occasional lightning strikes as well. The count seemed a little bit higher not too long ago, but at this point, I still see that there are even maybe a couple of other areas of rotation. Meteorologist Lee Ringer and I have been watching this particular band throughout the day, and Lee, I actually see that, yes, there is certainly going to be a threat for a tornado with the first cell that we've been talking about. There's another cell, though, just south of Durham that seems to be showing some signs of rotation. So there's going to be perhaps a couple of areas that we'll need to watch going forward this morning.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Tom. The tornado warning right now is on the north side of Durham, but if you're even, say, from Durham down toward the South Point area, which is, of course, near I-40, that technically not under the warning, but with that new area of rotation popping up, I would better be safe than sorry, right? Get to that tornado safe spot, which is going to be on the lowest floor in an interior room of a sturdy building. We always say that the goal you want to have is to put as many walls as you can between where you are and where that rotation, where that tornado may be spinning up outside. You definitely want to be away from windows. A basement, a closet, a hallway, a windowless bathroom is a good place to be. If you live in an apartment and you're not on the bottom floor and you just can't get to the bottom floor, you still want to get away from exterior walls. You still want to get into the middle of your apartment, again, a hallway or closet is going to be a good place to be. Watching this band of rain we've been talking about, and embedded with that cells that can spin up tornadoes, and that cell that we had been watching earlier in the morning showing some signs of rotation about a half hour, 45 minutes ago as it crossed Jordan Lake in Chatham County. That rotation picking up as it has moved near Durham, and that prompted issuing this warning. We had been looking at the rain. Now we're looking at storm tracker velocity. So this is not a sort of a non-traditional way to look at the storm, something we don't often look at when we generally have rain, but we're looking at winds inside the thunderstorm. Tom Miners was talking about that a little bit earlier, and it's really right on this Orange and Durham County line now where we're seeing that rotation. So just for some reference here, here's Chapel Hill, here's Durham. So Chapel Hill and Carborough, you're in the clear. This is on the east side of Hillsborough, right on the Orange and Durham County line, and on the north side of Durham. It's this area right in here where we may be seeing some signs of rotation with this particular cell. We'll go in for a little closer view, and we'll track this out as it moves to the east-northeast, and we'll put a time on that. It looks like it's going to be through the Quail Roost community here within the next 10-15 minutes through about 10:06. Mariah community, if it holds together, 10:18, and then Colbreth a little bit earlier. So moving in some more rural areas, eventually potentially moving into some sections of, say, Person and Granville counties. We'll go in for a little closer view, actually going to widen things out. Again, Tom, we were talking about this area of rotation here, which is north of Chapel Hill, the northwest side of Durham. But take a look at this area of rotation that doesn't have a warning on it right now, but that's coming across I-40 on the south side of Durham, which is right near the Streets of South Point area. And while you're not in downtown Durham, technically under the warning, from downtown down toward I-40 in the Southport area, I would go ahead and get to that tornado safe spot. Would you agree with me, Tom?
Yeah, I certainly would, Lee. On the wall here, this is the next track that I can show you for that same cell that you're talking about. That seems to be, again, another zone that we've been watching that weak rotation going on there. So Durham, estimated time of arrival is actually closer to about 4 or 5 minutes after 10 o'clock. And there is a possibility, again, for us to see that same area of rotation get put under another warning. We'll see if the National Weather Service agrees, because anytime you might hear that alert go off in our microphone, that's telling us that there's an update.
Yes.
Okay, so there it goes. So spoken into existence again there. That Gorman, estimated time of arrival is 10:11. Fairtosh, closer to 10:19. Butner, closer to 10:26. So Butner, 10:26 for the estimated time of arrival. Most of these cells are moving at about 30 miles per hour. And we've got Lyons at 10:29 and Stem at 10:36 there. There is some lightning. There's certainly some heavy rain with this. So this is not going to be the type of funnel cloud that you would be able to see necessarily. So don't go outside and try to take pictures of it. You're not going to see it until it's directly on top of you. So please do not take any pictures or try to get outside to get a view of this tornado. We only want you to share weather photos with us when it's safe to do so. And so that's going to actually mostly be once the storm has finally passed. So 2 separate tornado warnings. The first one until 10:15, which includes portions of Person and Granville, as well as northeastern Orange County. And the second one, Lee, that was just issued, is that also until 10:30?
It is until
10:15.
Yes,
also 10:15. So 2 separate warnings, same expiration time, about the next 20 to 25 minutes. We're still going to be covering that potential for tornadoes in those 2 areas. So Lee, we got a long band here of heavy rainfall. It's somewhat broken, in fact, but you can actually see a pretty clear picture of where we're watching for potential rotation just by looking at radar, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we've been talking all morning that here in central and eastern North Carolina, we find ourselves on the northeast side of Nicole. The center of circulation is down toward Georgia. So we're on the side of the storm where tornadoes can spin up, especially when you get these bands bands of rain. Let me get my drawing tool here, and that'll help us point out where those bands of rain actually are. Let's see if we can clear that, and you can see this band of rain that really stretches from Roxborough through Durham, now north of Chapel Hill, and then it stretches really all the way down toward coastal areas of North Carolina. So it's this whole band right in here, kind of a broken band, but in that is embedded downpours, and at times these cells have been showing some signs of rotation. Now, we've had a few tornado warnings earlier in the morning in parts of North Carolina. We have not heard any confirmation of a tornado actually being sighted or one doing some damage, but even if you haven't heard that confirmation, you want to take these very seriously. So now we have a tornado warning that does include downtown Durham. We were talking about two different areas of rotation with this cell. Let me get back to our drawing tool here, and you can point out, and we'll point out this one that is right on the Durham and Orange County line. Hillsborough is right here. So this is east of Hillsborough, moving toward northern Durham County, and this is actually going to work its way up into the southeast corner of Person County, staying just south of Roxborough. Let me clear that out. We'll get our drawing tool back here together, and we'll actually now get that drawing tool together. And the other side of this, and I'm actually going to go back so we can get a broader view of this, but the other area of rotation is right now coming into downtown Durham. So that's the part of the storm that just crossed I-40 near the South Point area, moving north right into Durham. You can see those greens and reds coming together. Again, this is maybe not the traditional view of radar you're used to seeing. We're looking at what we call a velocity product. We're actually not looking necessarily at the rain, but we're looking at how the raindrops are moving. We're looking at the winds inside the thunderstorm. And when you see the reds and greens coming together, like these two different areas, that's where we may have rotation. That's where we may have possible tornadoes. So we have one in northern Orange and Durham County, right on the county line. The other, most concerning because it's coming through that populated area of Durham. If you are watching in Durham, you absolutely need to be in your tornado safe spot, which we'll repeat several times when we're in this warning, but that's a basement, a closet, a hallway, a bathroom that doesn't have windows. You want to put as many walls as you can between where you are and the outside. Ideally, it's on the lowest floor in an interior room. I know there are folks that live in apartments that are not on the lowest floor of the apartment building. If you can't get to the lowest floor, you still want to get away from those exterior walls. You still want to get into a hallway, a closet, or a windowless bathroom. These tornado warnings in effect for Durham, also the very northeast corner of Orange County, the southeast corner of Person County, and now the southwest side of Granville County until 10:15. As while I was saying that, it looks like this area of rotation, this first area of rotation, has maybe broadened out, which is showing some signs of weakening. So the National Weather Service dropping that warning, and the most concerning right now, this part of the storm that's coming through Durham. So if you're in downtown Durham, really anywhere north of I-40 in Durham County, you need to be in your tornado safe spot. If you are now in southwestern Granville County around Butner, you need to be in your tornado safe spot, as this area of rotation will be making its way right over downtown Durham as we speak in a matter of minutes, and then moving up toward the Bahama and Butner area. Tom?
Yeah, Lee, that is one of those zones. We've got that band moving through, and it's frustrating, right? Because for us, we're trying to communicate to our audience at home. We've got the warning here, and then as soon as maybe we start talking about it, the rotation starts to weaken. But I think for our viewers, this is really communicating how short-lived some of that tornadic activity might be today, and how important then it is to make sure that you're getting those alerts, perhaps in multiple different ways, so that you're always getting at least some sort of tether to what the weather is doing outside. So we've got, again, one warning that's currently in effect, another warning that was first initially issued just after 9:40. That was canceled early. So we've really just got portions of Durham and southwestern Granville County under that tornado warning until 10:15. So coming up on 10 o'clock here, let me kind of recap what's going on around central and eastern North Carolina. The center of Nicole is making its way through North Georgia, and the center is now starting to move north to the north and east. This time yesterday, we were telling you that Nicole was finally starting to pull more to the north as opposed to the west. So we've actually seen Nicole start to pivot now. It's about to get caught in this cold front that's making its way across the heart of the country. There have been blizzard warnings across the northern plains, so an unbelievably diverse weather map across the country today. But again, the most important thing that we've got right now is that tornado warning in Durham County and southwestern Granville County, and it's the only tornado warning that we've got here right at about 10 a.m. So that's the current radar map. We really just see light scattered showers east of I-95. We've got a band of heavy rain moving through Raleigh right now, scattered showers over the Triad, widespread rainfall, some heavy in the mountains near Asheville and Boone. Again, that tornado warning is in effect for the next 15 minutes. So right here at 10 o'clock, that's the one that's actually showing some of the strongest signature of rotation. But we've got some heavy rainfall coming through Raleigh right now, right through Garner as well, through Leesville. It's making its way up through Roxborough right now with some occasional to frequent lightning. We're getting updates on that tornado warning too. Butner, you are included in the polygon. Durham, you can see downtown Durham. I was just actually at the Durham Life and Science Museum yesterday. It was a nice calm day, and we actually had some sunshine. It was nice to see. But on the north side of Durham, where that museum is located, a little bit closer to some of the heavy rainfall, but south of Interstate 40, you're out of the threat for now of that particular tornado. Highway 501 and points east are where we still have that potential for this possible tornado to come through as that system continues to move off to the north and northeast at about 30 miles per hour, and still certainly seeing some rotation or a sign of that that's going on north and east of Durham right now, east of Highway 501 and north and west of Interstate 85 with respect to Durham and Granville County, of course. Near Wilmington and Jacksonville, not much rain, just light showers in Onslow County at the moment. Farther up to the north and east, say towards parts of Elizabeth City, it's the same story. We have some thunderstorms out at sea, though, and I think we'll need to pay close attention to that going forward because we still have this tornado watch in effect for the next 5 hours. And I wouldn't be surprised if, Lee, maybe we even saw that get expanded in terms of time once that watch does expire later on today.
Yeah, something we'll be watching all day. Still just 10 in the morning now, 10:01 to be exact. We are keeping our coverage here in the Forecast Center. Anytime that we have a tornado warning in effect somewhere here in central and eastern North Carolina, I know if you're watching from the coast, doesn't seem like much is going on. Some sun's coming out, but that may be destabilizing the atmosphere, leading to some more of these tornadoes. It's really this broken band of rain that stretches right near the Raleigh and Durham area. It really breaks up as you get to the coast, but it's embedded with this where we're getting not only these downpours, but at times some of these have been showing some signs of rotation. I think this line itself is going to be shifting to the east, so the tornado threat may be increasing the next couple hours east of this line. Right now, the most imminent threat has been right over Durham. That's where a tornado warning continues for another 15 minutes, actually 13 minutes to be exact, until 10:15. Now, if you're right in downtown Durham and points to the south towards South Point and I-40, you are in the clear. So if you'd gone to your closet or hallway, it turned up your TV, maybe you were watching on the Spectrum News app, you are safe to come out of that tornado safe spot. If you're north of Durham, really anywhere from I-85 up through the rest of northern Durham County and still in the southwest corner of Granville County, including near Butner, you need to be in your tornado safe spot. So downtown Durham to the south, now safe. North of Durham, once you get from I-85 to the north, is where we're seeing that sign of rotation. You can see it here. We're looking again at velocity. Right on the north side of I-85 is the part of the storm that could be producing a tornado. That has been tracking to the north, moving roughly at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. We can put a storm track on that storm as it moves to the north-northeast, and you can see that's going to be putting it through Butner here between 10:15 and 10:20. It may be moving a little bit faster than what it's estimated, but between now and 10:20, the storm could be moving through Butner. Between now and 10:30, it could be moving through the STEM community. So really anywhere from North Durham, Gorman, Butner, you need to be in your tornado safe spot. As we get from STEM and points to the north, you're technically not under a warning. We'll wait to see if this holds together. Often when we get these tropical tornadoes to spin up with tropical systems, they happen very briefly and they happen with little advanced warning. So again, I just want to emphasize, if you're there in North Durham, north of I-85 in Durham County, from there toward Butner and Granville County, you need to continue to be on the lowest floor in an interior room of a sturdy building, closet, basement, hallway. Turn up the TV. Tom and I are going to talk you through this. If you've got your phone with you, you've got the Spectrum News app there, you can watch us there as well. We're going to stay with you as long as this warning is in effect. And again, it is in effect until 10:15. The only warning that we have, that means there's an imminent threat. We all in central and eastern North Carolina, from Durham, Raleigh, Fayetteville to Virginia to the North Carolina coast, under a tornado watch until 3 o'clock. That means to watch out, pay close attention to changing conditions, because conditions are favorable for a tornado to spin up. The warning that we have right now in Durham County and southwestern Granville County means that a tornado threat is imminent. As we watch this band of rain that is slowly moving to the east, the rain is going to be off and on here through the afternoon. Tom?
Ellie, you mentioned also with that view, too, showing that band moving through. I'm hopeful that would be one of the main instances that we would have, tornadoes today in the triangle. That would be great. The problem is that what's going to happen today is I think we're going to see showers and thunderstorms get a little bit more discreet, and we might maybe have another band or two come through, but that's when we're going to have to be watching, these individual showers and monitoring for any broad or weak rotation. Right now, they're conveniently lined up on a line that stretches from Person County all the way down to areas near Wilmington. As Lee showed you, that's where the watch is still in effect until 3 o'clock today. As far as winds, flash flooding, and power outage threats go, though, for the rest of today, I think that what we're really going to have to see as far as those winds go is that chance for 25 to 35 mile per hour wind gusts of peak speeds, at least from Nicole, start to intensify late in the afternoon and right in through the early evening. I don't think that this threat's going to linger too late tonight, though. For central North Carolina, perhaps a little bit earlier. We'll see that threat diminish. And for the coast, maybe through midnight tonight, we'll still have that chance for perhaps some isolated to scattered power outages. For most of central and east North Carolina, though, the flash flood threat is kind of on the lower end of the scale. And that tornado threat, again, also will start to deteriorate a little bit after sunset tonight. So any flash flooding is more or less likelier for the mountains than it is for the Piedmont and the coastal plain. And large hail is highly unlikely today. That flash flood threat is mostly just for areas near Asheville and Boone, along with the wind advisory, where the wind gusts are more likely to exceed 40 or even 45 miles per hour. So for those of us on the eastern half of the state, yeah, it is that tornado threat that's a little bit more concerning than the threat for flash flooding or for straight line winds. This is 1 o'clock this afternoon, so I've kind of pushed forward 3 hours now, and you can actually see indicated in orange that the northernmost side of the state, as well as perhaps areas east of I-95, are still looking at that lingering tornado threat today, and that threat does seem to ramp up for areas like near Elizabeth City between 4 and 6, maybe even 7 o'clock this evening. But if we're going a little bit further past sunset, by 11 o'clock tonight, that threat for tornadoes looks like it is really going to start to drop. So I really don't see as much of an overnight threat tonight for us to be dealing with tornadoes. It's mostly during the day. So again, the wind threat, flood threat, mostly for the mountains. We're really looking at our local areas, communities dealing with more of perhaps a wind threat this afternoon and evening, and the tornado threat continuing from now. And of course, right even into the rest of the afternoon and evening. That tornado warning has been trimmed back just slightly, but you can see again that watch still continues even for, let's give an example of Scotland and Richmond counties. Those areas are still in the watch until 3 p.m. So that band has been where we've seen the location of any spin-ups lately. We've already had 4 tornado warnings today in North Carolina. We've got, again, these areas of rotation like this one north of North Roxborough Road, north and east of Durham, still going on. So that rotation is holding together west of Butner. Butner, you've been removed from the polygon, and now it's north and east of Highway 501 in portions of Durham County, and mostly west of the Granville and Durham County line. But Stay with us as we continue to follow for the next 7 minutes that warning, and we'll hopefully see it expire soon, because it seems like, Lee, as we've been going forward here for this morning so far, as soon as these storms start to move a little bit farther north of Interstate 40, they start to get a little bit weaker here, and they don't show as much of a strong couplet as like what we had with this particular cell just a little bit ago. So I'm hoping that we'll start to see that continue to be the case this morning and afternoon.
Yeah, typically these spin-ups don't last forever with tropical systems. They're typically quick, so hopefully we're going to watch this spin down.
Yes.
But still one that we want to have our guard up for at least the next few minutes. Again, if you're north of 85 in Durham County, if you're near the 85 corridor in southwestern Granville County near Butner, you still need to be in your tornado safe spot. If you're south of 85, downtown Durham toward I-40, the southern half of Durham County, you are in the safe zone. There are parts of there's actually a large part of central and eastern North Carolina where it's not raining in your backyard right now. But again, it's this one band that's just been slowly building to the east. There's embedded showers that are quickly moving to the north. The whole line slowly moving to the east, but embedded showers moving to the north. And it's in that line that we have the most intense weather at this hour, at least. And we're going to see more of these kind of come in off and on through the day. Parts of Raleigh getting in on downpours just inside the Beltline, especially the eastern half of the area inside the Beltline. That bleeds over toward Knightdale, down toward Garner and Clayton, extending into Johnston County, getting some heavy rain. But the warning, the area that has the rotation, is north of Durham. So while we are getting some heavy downpours in parts of Raleigh and Wake County, stretching into Johnston County, no warnings for us right now. We will watch the cell that is right near the intersection of I-40 and 95, just on the east side of the Benson area. Not necessarily showing any signs of rotation, but the structure of that cell has me wondering that may be one we need to watch as that crosses I-95 right now and heads near and on the west side of the Smithville and Selma area. That's just one we'll be watching. Again, the only warning we have in effect right now, this tornado warning that's in northern Durham County, downtown Durham in the clear, the South Point area of Durham in the clear. This is the northeast corner now of Durham County, and still a very southwestern part of Granville County. So we're north of 85 in Durham. We're just west of 85 in Granville County. Areas in northern Durham County and areas near Butner still need to be in your tornado safe spot. Again, it's this area in here that continues to show some signs of rotation that is moving on to the north. If that holds together, that's going to make its way into parts of Person County and some other parts of Granville County. But as Tom was saying a little bit earlier, this has tended to show some signs of weakening it a bit. It's kind of coming through some more rural areas near Orange Factory and Bahama over the next 5 to 10 minutes if it holds together as we get closer to 10:30 through the Shoofly community and Colbreth community. All areas we'll be watching. But again, if you had gone to your tornado safe spot in Durham, in the city, downtown and points to the south, you're in the clear, and you're in the very northern part of Durham County near Bahama, and also again near Butner in Granville County. You still need to continue to follow these tornado safety tips for at least another few minutes, Tom.
Absolutely, Lee. We have a traffic camera shot that we can show you, a live picture from what's going on outside. This is on Interstate 85 at US 15. This is showing some heavy rain, some folks dealing with, of course, the slick spots on the roads, and that's leading to a little bit of a buildup on the traffic. This tornado warning, by the way, that's been approaching or close to parts of Durham and moving towards Granville County or on the west side of Granville County, will expire at 10:15, so just in another 2 minutes. So we'll keep an eye on the camera shot. If actually we could take Max 5 full screen, our control room could show you satellites. And this is showing some peaks of sunshine coming through sections of the Triangle and Sandhills. It's been that way for a little while. A lot of moisture kind of getting fed into this area, especially that might show a lot more chance for tornadic development there in your Fayetteville and Wilmington, especially if we get that sunshine to continue. A live picture from near Wilmington, Carolina Beach, showing some of that blue sky right now. And cloudier skies over Raleigh, Charlotte, and Greensboro. Just heard a rumble of thunder, actually, outside our studios near Atlantic Avenue in Raleigh just now. So heavy rain still coming through portions of the triangle with the threat for that tornado that we'll continue to watch for you, and satellite showing that we might not stay completely cloudy today. We may actually get some breaks of sunshine. We'll be hopeful that one of these bands, this first initial band that's come through this morning, is when we really see the bulk of our chance for tornadic development. So our tornado warning will be expiring in 1 minute, and meteorologist Lee Ringer and myself will again be continuing to keep an eye on things for you here in the Weather on the One's Forecast Center. Lee, as you started a weathercast in the 9 o'clock hour, or I believe it was the 8 o'clock hour, and as I started one in the 9 o'clock hour, we were both kind of interrupted by the tornado warnings that have been issued. So we have been on air before the tornado warnings have been issued today a few times, but as we've been discussing, I think we'll have to monitor that threat going forward today.
Yeah, in the next several hours, we're going to be on the northeast side of this storm, on the northeast side of Nicole, and that's the case. We've been focusing a lot on Durham and the Triangle because that's the warning right now, but we are, of course, covering this storm for you across the state, watching this coverage right now, really anywhere from the Raleigh and Durham area to the coast, and really everyone under the potential threat for a tornado to spin up. The warning here in the last several minutes has been in Durham County, and now as we count down the final seconds, it is exactly 10:15 right now, so that warning you saw just drop off the map. So no warnings at the present moment. We should give everyone in the clear in Durham County and parts of Granville County. If you had gone to your tornado safe spot, it turned up your TV, we're watching on the Spectrum News app, you're safe to come out again. But if in the control room we can switch over to Max 3 so we can show everyone that a tornado watch is still in effect. Now, it's always good to refresh our memories. Warnings that we had been talking about that just expired in Durham and Granville County meant that we saw rotation on radar that indicated very good chance that there was a tornado there. Fortunately, we haven't heard any reports of anything that necessarily touched down there, but we all have this tornado watch in effect. And I do want to point out, while we don't have any warnings right now, we do have this cell that is in Johnston County right now that is intensifying a bit. I want to look at that on radar as that crosses I-95, not too far from Smithfield, maybe some weak rotation. That is one that we're going to have to watch. And also coming into, and I'm going to clear that and move the radar up a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm also watching this cell that is right over Garner right now, Tom, that may show some signs of rotation. That one right now, there's no warning on that, but I think maybe we should stay here in the forecast center. The warning has expired, but I think we should keep our coverage here in the forecast center right now so we can watch this. But that is right along I-40. It's sort of near 40 and Business 70 right now.
Yeah.
Let me go over to the touch screen if we can here. Here's downtown Raleigh is here. This is I-40 as you come out of Johnston County. Here's Clayton, the radar site right there in Clayton. So it looks like there's some rotation right here coming out of Johnston County into Wake County. If that holds together, that's going to move to the north. So that's going to be following up I-40 between Garner and Raleigh, moving on the east side of Raleigh. No warning with this right now, but at least some weak rotation. So, if you're in this area between Garner and Raleigh, not a bad idea to get to somewhere safe. And it looks like we've also got some rotation, Tom, wouldn't you agree with me, right on the east side of Raleigh, right on the eastern end of the belt line there, where I-87 and 440 come together. Is that what you're watching? And you're on Max 5, I believe.
That's right, Lee.
Let's take that full if we can.
Sure, yeah. This is closer to right on where the belt line meets with Interstate 87. As a matter of fact. So we're talking about the east side of Raleigh, closer towards Knightdale, popping up some of the communities here, Newbern Avenue, so Highway 64, right through sections, again, of Interstate 87, where it meets up with the Beltline, as well as North New Hope Road, Global Street there, Beacon Village Drive, and Raleigh Beach Road. These are some of the streets and locations where we've got at the very least right now, radar presenting us with some strong winds that might be close to 51 miles per hour. That's what the radar is estimating for us right now. It's telling us that this cell, this particular line that, again, had been producing some heavy rainfall and occasional thunder and lightning, might also be producing some strong winds, maybe even some weak rotation. That band of heavy rain stretches all the way down through Garner and north of 540. So where Capitol Boulevard meets with 540 and US 1, there all the way down through Garner, we've got some heavy rainfall, and perhaps within that is some embedded rotation too. About 15 to 20 mile stretch, there are some heavy rain and perhaps some 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts with that system. That rotation is very broad there. Again, maybe some strong winds gusting up to perhaps 51 miles per hour. And the signature is not as clear as it was when that cell was in Durham County, showing a well-defined couplet. But yeah, presentation here that still shows and prompts us to, I would say, take your precautions of getting on the lowest floor in the centermost part of your home. And that way, keeping yourself safe if a warning is issued.
Yeah, if we go over to Max 3, we've got a view near that particular storm that we're watching. This is I-87 at 540. So this rotation is really crossing I-87 a little closer to the 440 belt line, but that's a whole area along I-87 between the 440 belt line and 540, so between the east side of Raleigh and Knightdale. You definitely see some rain falling along that section of I-87, but radar indicating there may be at least some signs of rotation. And if we go back over to Max 5, you can see that Tom has velocity pulled up there, and it's that brighter green as it tracks to the north. That's moving through the eastern side of Raleigh up toward the New Hope area here in the next 5-10 minutes. I want to emphasize no warning right now, but Tom, we've seen this through the morning that sometimes we see this rotation. It's weak at first, so that's why there's no warning, but if it intensifies, then there's enough sign there that there may be a tornado about to develop. So that's why we're staying here in the forecast center for a little extended coverage, just because that has piqued our interest, or we have some concerns, probably the better way to phrase that.
Right, and that cell that prompted the tornado warning that was over portions of Durham County, we were watching it when it was in Chatham County that was showing some signs of rotation, and even that cell eventually did prompt the warning over Durham County. But that's exactly right, Lee. This rotation, it's typically very brief, and there are very kind of faint clues that we have to keep an eye out for that show us that perhaps a warning by the National Weather Service will actually get issued. But we're kind of adding an extra layer of protection for you here on Spectrum News 1 so that you get even more warning, or you get even more lead time, because we're telling you, hey, we're watching this, and a tornado warning might get issued for that. So you're kind of getting an extra layer there of a little bit more guidance from us here, the weather experts on Spectrum News 1, about what's going on. For folks that are watching in eastern North Carolina, you haven't seen a whole lot today, not yet at least, so we can go ahead and take a look at the big screen here of the video wall, and that'll show you Nicole at large making its way across much of the eastern United States. Now, that band that we have had come through the triangle, and to some extent, to some portions of the coast, there were a couple of lightning strikes near Pender, New Hanover, and Onslow counties. I would hope that that would actually be one of the main instances that we see a threat for tornadoes to spin up on, although what we see forward now is going into the rest of this afternoon, these showers are going to be a little bit more scattered, a little bit more separated, and they won't be conveniently lined up along a line of heavy rainfall like we've already had. So that cell that's moving through eastern portions of Wake County right now, again, seems to be one of those that could be rotating. That's still kind of on that broken line, which is weakened to some extent, but we've got some very heavy rainfall and occasional thunder and lightning on the east side of Raleigh, near Knightdale, far west of Zebulon and far west of Franklin County at the moment. Heavy rain continuing in a scattered fashion over Johnston County on both sides of Smithfield, so near Four Oaks, and on the east side of Smithfield there. You got some heavy rain that's building off to the north at approximately 30 miles per hour. As far as Raleigh is concerned, Wake County, there's Knightdale, there's Raleigh, so smack dab in the middle on the east side of the Beltline where the Beltline meets up with Interstate 87 and where Capitol Boulevard meets up with 540. Stretched down about 15 miles to east of Garner. That's a long line of some heavy rainfall and a possibilities for some embedded rotation there too. Closer look at Smithfield here. This is actually showing you the Peden Extension, I-95 here and near Benson, Four Oaks, some heavy rainfall. Those showers also still moving to the north. So Clayton, if you're watching from that side of Johnston County, there is going to be some heavy rain moving through in the next 15 to 30 minutes, but we don't have any warnings in place. We were watching this area briefly for a tornado that could have been coming through on the north side of Durham. And so now what we've got really is that hopefully chance for any tornadic activity in Durham County to be kind of shrinking back for now. Some scattered showers, mostly light on the coast. No threat for severe weather is imminent. I don't see any signs of rotation for eastern North Carolina at the moment. But again, going forward to today, to this afternoon, as we get more sunshine, the atmosphere might start to destabilize a little bit, and that tornado watch is in effect for the next next 5.5 hours there, 4.5 hours. And again, this means that we're still going to have that potential for brief, mostly weak tornadoes continuing even into the afternoon. I would even think that the coast might see another tornado watch get issued, extending that possibility right up through sunset tonight. But straight line winds, again, winds that are typically associated with a tropical cyclone like we've got here, those will stay a bit gusty even into the evening in central North Carolina. Now, we don't have a watch for flooding or for winds in central or eastern parts of the state. That's actually confined to communities way out to the western side of North Carolina. So this threat for a tornado seems to be taking the forefront of the forecast. We're talking a lot about that as we've already had several tornado warnings get issued today. I think that threat for the coast will finally start to ramp up later on this afternoon and into the evening. You can see at 6 o'clock still a potential, low to moderate potential for tornadic development even in Elizabeth City through 4 and 5 and maybe 6 p.m. Blizzard warnings were issued yesterday in North Dakota, and we've got a tropical cyclone again on the southeastern United States. So a very diverse weather map today. Got lots to track all across the country, but the main feature in our forecast, the main character certainly is still Nicole, which we'll continue to get some lingering effects from and a chance for rain for, as well as potential for tornadoes as we go into the rest of today. Lee?
Tom, just a housekeeping note for our producers. Since we don't have a warning in effect right now, we are watching some weak signs of rotation. A warning hasn't been issued. We're going to take this up to our next break. We're going to take a break to be able to catch our breath and kind of regroup. Of course, if a warning is issued, we'll stay with you and we'll break back in if necessary. Tom was telling you about the tornado watch. We also break down the actual how high the threat is in that watch. There's a moderate, actually a little more than 50% chance it will end up with at least 2 tornadoes. We've had a number of tornado warnings in parts of North Carolina since about sunrise this morning. Fortunately, no reports of one actually causing damage or actually even reaching the ground. But even though we haven't had reports of any just yet, if a warning is issued, take it seriously. The center of circulation, again, out near Atlanta, Georgia, still putting us on the northeast side of the storm where we get these bands of rain rotating through, getting some heavy downpours, even a little thunder and lightning, and at times showing some signs of rotation. The rotation not strong enough for there to actually be a tornado, so no warning right now, but some of the most intense showers right now on the east side of Raleigh, between Raleigh and Knightdale. The others coming through parts of Johnston County right now. Look at the ominous-looking clouds in Raleigh, a live view in downtown from the Leith Audi camera. Meantime, near the southeast coast, folks are out at Carolina Beach, the Smithfield's barbecue there, showing some sun. That sun breaking out is not necessarily a good thing because it destabilizes the atmosphere. And notice we've got more of these rain bands are going to be coming into coastal areas, so we may get in on that threat for downpours, and we still have that tornado watch until at least 3. Our winds also picking up, winds in Jacksonville gusting to 31 miles per hour. For the rest of the day, those gusts could get as high as 35, 40 miles per hour. I think the strongest gusts are actually on the way later this afternoon and this evening. The winds will finally die down tomorrow. The rain's going to be with us off and on into tonight, and then we'll dry out tomorrow as we say goodbye to Nicole. We'll have a lot more on your forecast coming up in the next half hour. Stay with us.
This is Bob Minetti and his wife, Wendy. In 2016, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Bob participated in a clinical trial that included cutting-edge radiation therapy and surgery. He's been in remission since completion.
I'm so glad I learned what was possible for me.
Stand Up to Cancer and Lustgarten Foundation are working together to make every person diagnosed with pancreatic cancer a long-term survivor. Visit pancreaticcancercollective.org.